It involves Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, I heard this story. I know.
Yeah, he actually. I don't remember.
I don't like Vanilla Ice,
I don't
but
either.
I kind of like the story.
Yeah, I don't remember what the situation was, why Suge was mad at Vanilla Ice.
Because
I do remember it was that he had a tenuous business agreement with the guy who produced Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby, and he exploited that to gain the rights or try and strong arm the rights of Ice Ice Baby from the dude who actually owned the rights and Vanilla Ice. And Vanilla Ice was like, nah, I'm gonna keep that, thanks. And Suge was trying to strong arm him into signing the rights over to him and Death Row.
Yeah.
So Suge, after a series of other kind of trying to intimidate Vanilla Ice tactics, shows up at a hotel that Vanilla Ice is staying in with two of his giant bodyguards, gets him on the balcony, and either does dangle him off the balcony or says he's about to dangle him off the balcony. I think he actually did do that.
he's a big enough dude to hold
He could have.
somebody
Yeah, he
up.
Definitely could have actually done that. Anyways,
Well, that's when he first when he first opened up his label too. Remember, I was alluding to that story earlier on, where he visited that guy and basically, after an hour, him and his two thug accomplices basically persuaded this guy to just sign over 3 acts.
Do you know who that guy was?
I can't remember the guy's name now.
Eazy-E.
Easy-E?
Eazy-E, who, if you know the music catalog, was a bad guy. I mean, he was a strong presence in the community, or in the rap community, and just for no money, for no nothing, just I'll give you Dre, I'll give you Snoop, I'll just give you my biggest acts in a meeting. It's just like, what did he have over Easy to be able to pull that off?
That's a good question.
500 pounds.
I don't think that it was a matter of money or size. I think that he wasn't afraid to pull some devious practices, and I think that
You think he might have blackmailed him?
I think he blackmailed him. I think he caught him with his pants down somewhere.
Probably.
And got him in trouble, or could get him in trouble.
No, maybe.
You know, had a piece of evidence, whether it be verbal or physical, that scared Eazy-E enough to just say, "All right, dude, can I have that document? Can I have that whatever? Get out of my office and never talk to me again."
Yeah, so he was obviously not an ethical
Bad dude.
practitioner.
And this is all for stuff that's way less than millions of dollars in his reputation, right?
Yeah.
Because had Tupac actually left Death Row and sued for millions and dragged Suge's name through the mud, that costs Suge way more than, say, a killing.
Yeah.
So this
not that expensive to get
theory
somebody whacked.
essentially goes, well, it's free if you already have dirty cops on your...
Well, I'm sure you had to give him a bonus, for the whack.
Sure, but not that much, probably.
Yeah, no.
The thing, okay, I don't think Suge did it.
Well, he didn't pull the trigger.
I don't think Suge organized the Biggie killing. And I'm highly doubtful that he organized the Tupac killing. And my reason is that Suge Knight is a bully. He's a big, hulking, red glowing-eyed bully. But I don't think that he has the wherewithal to organize it all.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think that his play is, I'm going to stand in front of you and I'm going to scare the holy hell out of you. But I don't think that he has the wherewithal to plan, like what we were talking about, where it takes all these bits and pieces of the car, the U-turn car, and then the other one.
You don't think are you saying he doesn't have the mental cannibal power?
I don't think he does. I think that's outside of his range of ability.
But he can hire professionals who are good at that kind of thing.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
That is completely possible.
Well, so one thing we haven't really talked about, because I was trying to keep this episode under 2 hours, is that
2-hour show
is that Suge and Tupac both, but Suge particularly, had a huge love for mob movies.
He did.
And it's not wildly out there to assume that he had watched enough of The Godfather or whatever other mob movies to come up with a Hollywood convoluted plan enough that he could tell all the, off-duty cops that he had on his payroll, hey, I want to do this thing, and then they would say, oh, we'll do it this way.
Okay, let's run down that.
Sure.
I'm trying to remember the name of the documentary that gave me all of the information that I'm thinking about. It's the one that came out in 2007. It was Tupac Assassination or something. I can't remember what.
Tupac Assassination.
Well, no, it's Assassination or the second one was just Assassination. The one that came out in 2009 was just Tupac Assassination.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
The 2007 had a double part on it. But the point is, what that one brings out, and this is why I know everybody thinks Suge did it, is that we were talking about right-way security, the security guards. There was a whole bunch of weird stuff that happened in Vegas that weekend where suddenly the bodyguards were told not to carry guns. They were being shuffled around. Now you're watching Pac. Now you're watching Suge. Now you're going to go to the bar. Now you're going to come back. Like weird shuffling so nobody knew where anybody was. This whole, what I would attribute to terrible management, other people have attributed to let's shake them up so they don't know what's going on, so nobody knows where they're at, so it's easy to make the hits.
Yeah.
But again, I right-way security I think was just poorly managed. But people say Reggie Wright, when Suge Knight went to prison, you know who took over death row?
Yeah.
Reggie Wright, Jr. He's the one who took the whole thing over. So I never hear him as the one who should have been responsible for creating the whole thing. Because let's take another angle. Okay, Suge is just peeved that he's going to lose his top artist, but he also owns the rights to all that music that artist has made, so he's going to make the money on it. But Reggie Wright, who wants to get to be the top dude, and I know he just beat the crap out of some guy, and I can totally get him in trouble. And by the way, I hate that Tupac guy. Why don't I do this stuff? Like, he's in control of all this stuff, and he was in control for 5 years until Suge Knight got out of prison. I mean, again, I don't think this is right, but if we're going to say Suge is responsible, why don't we say Reggie Wright Jr. is responsible?
Well, certainly, I think that he probably would have, even if the order had come from Suge, I mean, Reggie would have been involved, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's possible that Reggie could have done it all on his own without Suge's knowledge.
We hear all these things about, mob hits where the Don dies, and it turns out an underling who had, these cravings for power is the one who set the whole thing up thinking he would take over. It could be the same thing. Mm-hmm. Again, you talked about earlier, it's kind of this Hollywood thing that I saw this in a movie and it worked. I could totally do that. Mm-hmm. Do I think that's what happened? No. But it's just as plausible.
I guess just to my point, or to your point of Suge still making money off Tupac's money, or records, that's fair, except that he was going to get sued for a whole bunch of money, and it doesn't matter if you have more money potentially coming in on record sales.
Because, you're going to have to give up
if you have to give most of it up.
Well, but according to the contract, they owned the rights, and that's the way. I got into some contract law because I had the same question. Okay, they're going to get sued.
They do own the rights. That's fine. Tupac would never get those rights back, but for the amount of money that he was talking about suing for, the amount of money that he was owed, it could have very easily bankrupted at least Suge.
I question the amount of money that he was owed. I'm not going to disagree with the fact that Death Row was charging him exorbitant amounts of money for things. I mean, I've seen the laundry list of, video production and car rental and, $100,000 hotel room bill. Like, whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the label takes on covering your costs. You get paid after those costs are covered, and I think that they probably could have made a strong case to say, this dude was charging things out the wazoo, and he gets this.
Okay, Steve, you don't like Suge Knight. Who did it then?
I don't know who did it. This is one of those things. This, to me, is like talking about the Kennedy killing, because there's so many effing players involved that it could have been any of them, and it could have been all of them.
There could have been somebody we don't even know about.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like...
I mean, I'm gonna blame Dan Quayle at this point, because he's just as likely a suspect.
That's fair.
Well, when you have all these gang members involved, I mean,
factions that don't even reach the radar of reporting because they're on the street. They're not in the news.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
I mean, I like Suge Knight. I mean, I don't like Suge Knight. Actually,
You like Suge Knight to be responsible.
I like him and I don't think he pulled the trigger in either one of these hits. But I do think that it's quite likely because he did have a motive.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he did have a good motive, and he obviously was a pretty bare-knuckle kind of guy.
Yeah.
Not afraid to use violence.
I think it was Suge Knight too, but hey.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Yeah.
I mean, any more theories that you guys have?
Chupacabra, aliens, the usual.
The usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did we not bring the Masons in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We brought the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Or the Illuminati. Excuse me, I said Illuminati. That was stupid. So,
yeah, I was dumb.
Who else? The Druids?
Well, then I guess that's enough of Biggie and Tupac.
We can go for like another 40 minutes, and we can make those people who wanted the longer episodes have to drive around their office for like another 40 minutes.
Nah, I'm not interested in that.
Make it suffer.
No.
Is it time for the credits and all that
It's time
stuff?
for the credits and all that stuff. We have links for some of our research on the website, thinkingsidewayspodcast.com. You can stream our episodes there. You can download our episodes there. You can also donate or buy merch there.
Oh.
Shirts, phone cases.
Nightlight.
Yeah, we just added the nightlight.
Yeah.
At the suggestion of one of our listeners.
Who said, listen, I make the mistake of listening to your episodes at night, in the dark, in my house. Please, I need a nightlight. Best thing ever.
Yeah.
Great suggestion.
You probably aren't listening to us there, though. You're probably listening to us on iTunes. If you are, leave us a comment and a rating so other people can find us. You could also be streaming us on a host of different streaming sites, apps, things.
I've stopped adding us to them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't find when we're not on.
Yeah, I can't either. If you want to connect on social media with us, you can do so either at Facebook. We have a fan page and a group. So you find us, friend us, and like us. We also have Twitter, which is Thinkin' Sideways. You can also send us an email. It's thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com. Stop sending us emails.
Devin is a little bit disturbed because the inbox has been just a little bit insane.
It's been crazy.
For like 2 weeks. And
we've got a lot of emails.
Don't stop sending us email. But
we like email.
It may take us a little extra time to get back to you these days.
Yeah, I actually sort of knocked off work early the other day just to work through some emails because, well, we had a bunch of them.
Yeah, we did. That having been said, I think we're going to get out of here.
I think we need to.
Yeah.
Let's wrap
I think we've overstayed our
Ha!
Oh, so know any good rap songs besides How Much Wood Could a Woodchuck Chuck?
Throw your hands in the air.
I'm hypnotized.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, please, somebody turn this off before we make ourselves look any more white.
We are looking stupid here.
Hands in the air if you're a true player. Bye.
This week's episode is brought to you by your local cat or dog shelter. You're looking for a little furry friend to keep you company? Yeah, don't be like those other people that go to a breeder, and get themselves like a Rottweiler or a Dobermadoodle or a German Shepherd Madoodle. No, don't do that. Go to the pound. Go to a shelter. There's tons of wonderful animals, cats and dogs, who really need a home, and some of the best animals I've ever met, the greatest dogs and cats, they were just strays who came out of a shelter. So, and if you already have a cat or a dog, or you can't have one, you can always donate money. They need it. Or you can donate your time. You can meet lots of cool animals and cool people, too. So, hey, do it today or tomorrow.
Well, hey there, and welcome again to another episode of Thinking Sideways. I am Steve, as always, joined by
Joe
and Devin,
who's not sure she's Devin. Have you been replaced by a pod person?
Yeah.
Do you even know what a pod person is?
I do. I was actually going to say I think I'm a synth, but
okay.
We're just talking different fandoms. It's fine.
Sweet.
It happens so much.
It does.
At least in the movies.
Yeah, It does. All right. Well, I guess we've got a lot to cover, ground to cover today. So we should probably just jump into things because, as always, we got a mystery.
And no dilly-dallying around.
Yeah. Well, this week we've got a big mystery, which is the crash of TWA Flight 800, which I think a lot of people probably know about the crash and that it happened, but maybe not so aware of some of the controversy that surrounds it and all of the theories that have spawned out of the actual event.
It is kind of big. I mean, it's big enough that the conspiracy theories have their own Wikipedia page.
Yes.
I have an important question.
Yes.
Was TWA actually an airlines, or was it just like the code name they gave every airplane that ever had something tragic happen on it?
Because TWA is Trans World Airlines.
I just feel
they used to exist,
yeah, and I just feel like every time I hear, prior to these last couple, every time it used to be, oh yeah, that
TWA,
flight TWA, whatever. It was really tragic, and it's just like, what?
I really feel like TWA something, or letters that are almost the same organization are the plane that they crashed in the original or the second Die Hard.
Yeah.
Remember the second Die Hard? They
it
ran
must
one
be.
It's very similar. But TWA was big enough.
They were actually.
That it was recognizable.
And they do not exist anymore.
Yeah, they don't. But there for a while, I think they were the biggest airline anywhere. And
they were one of the top dogs.
Not surprising they would be kind of like the leader in crashes. Therefore, also.
Yeah.
Well, let me give a quick little disclaimer here. We're going to call this a disclaimer. We've just talked about how big this story is and how many theories there are out there, and there is a lot of content associated with it, and we're not going to be able to hit every single point because there is just so much. I mean, I've watched multiple documentaries on this already, hours and hours worth of time, and they don't hit it all.
There's hundreds of the NTSB report itself is like 300 plus pages.
Yeah, I read most of that thing. It's
not a lot of it too.
I don't know. This script feels like it might be 300
pretty
pages.
Close. So my point is in saying that is if this is your favorite or pet story, don't get upset if we leave something out that you think is extremely important or pertinent. Instead,
obviously it wasn't.
No. Instead, what you need to do is you need to go online and join the discussion, because I know there's going to be a lot of conversation about this when this episode drops, and that's going to be the place to share it and have those conversations.
Those are places like the Facebook, the Reddit, Twitter maybe, but like...
Yeah, it's pretty hard to have the conversation.
So I would say the Facebook group and the Reddit group.
Yeah. Yep, those are totally it. Before I forget, I do want to thank both Christy and Megan who suggested this one for us. So let's get into the story. The story takes place on the 17th of July, 1996, when TWA Flight 800 was scheduled to leave JFK International Airport in New York City at 7 o'clock at night, with its destination being Paris, France. The plane itself was a Boeing 747-100, and at that point it had been in service for about 25 years, which honestly isn't that long when you think of how many aged 747s there are flying around the world right now.
Oh yeah, there's still, I think it had been at over 16,000 flights.
Something like that, yeah.
But planes aren't like cars. For one thing, they're better built, they're well maintained, better than cars, and so they'll go forever.
Oh yeah.
Or close to.
Oh yeah, no, it's talk about well built. I told you guys, I went into the Boeing factory and took the tour, and it's amazing the stuff that they do.
Oh yeah.
It is incredible to me, just like sidebar, how many things you have done. The longer we do this, the more I'm like, when does Steve have the time to do all this stuff?
Make stuff up.
Oh, okay, got it.
So if you're wondering what a 747-100 looks like, it's pretty easy to tell. It's a jumbo jet, of course, but it's got that funny hump at the nose. So the cockpit is in that upper section, and then the windows run along almost all the way to the tip of the nose.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of an easy way to identify it. The presidential plane or the presidential
Air
jet.
Force One.
Yeah, when the president's in it, it's Air Force One technically. But